For over 22 years, enforced disappearances, killings and torture were a norm in the Gambia under the dictatorial rule of its former president, Yahya Jammeh. This period in Gambia's history led to the mass exodus of young people, both regularly and irregularly. Fast forward to 2018, Adama Barrow is president. The Gambia is changing. However, many young Gambians continue to believe that the grass is greener on the other side, and therefore irregular migration persists. What role should journalists play in creating awareness about irregular migration and what it truly entails? This was the topic of discussion at the two-day training organized by West Africa Democracy Radio with the support of the German Federal Office in Banjul. The training, under the project titled Using Radio to Curb Irregular Migration, took place at the Paradise Suite Hotels from the 9th to the 10th of October. In attendance were 10 journalists from community radios across the country, a representative of the civil society, the president of the Gambia Press Union, the International Organization for Migration, and the Minister of Information and Communications Infrastructure, amongst many others. The chairman of the day, Ade Joseph Taylor, Executive Director of RCM Event Planner, in his welcome address, gave the main objective of the training.
The main objective, as we know, is to build the capacity of journalists, in this case in Gambia, on the irregular migration that's going on now, as commonly known as the backway.
West Africa Democracy Radio station manager Agnes John Tomasi then addressed the attendees. Speaking particularly to the journalists, she said,
"The two-day training is just a beginning for us. At the end result would be that the trained journalists will continue to work with WADR producers to produce weekly magazines on irregular migration. This magazine will be broadcast every Thursday by WADR and also shared with the partner radio stations for rebroadcasting."
Human rights defender Madi Jobate encouraged journalists to be well informed on the laws that affect irregular migration in order to report in a manner that protects and respects the migrants' rights.
It is important that we journalists go out, the extra mile to dig out the issues. And for me, the advice I would give journalists all the time, always know the law. If you claim to be a journalist to address issues like this, understand what is the position of international law on these things.
How can Gambian journalists report on irregular migration in a way that stays true to its people and its values? This was the subject that Gambia Press Union President Sharif Bojon Jr. spoke passionately on.
Everybody believes people migrate from the Gambia to anywhere else because of economic hardship, because that is the narrative on the other side of the divide. This explains why every single publication or article in this country about migration is just general.
Gambian Minister for Information, Honorable Ebrima Sila, in his official opening statement, spoke on the effects that irregular migration has on the Gambia as a whole.
It has serious implications on food security. It has serious implications on a whole lot of things that can help this country develop, because we have to admit that we are losing our most important thing to this migration, which is our young people.
Representatives of the International Organization for Migration, IOM, spoke to the participants about the work of the organization and terminologies used when reporting on irregular migration issues. Statistics were shared, and the journalists asked various questions, desiring to know more about the organization's findings. The Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, IHRDA, is a Pan-African non-governmental organization working to promote awareness of human rights in Africa. IHRDA's legal officer, Dayo Fagbemi, shed more light on regional and international laws that affect migrants.
All government agencies, the Office of the Ombudsman, the police, the judiciary, the court system, everybody in the government structure has a duty to guarantee me my human rights.
Presentations on the second day of the training focused on program production techniques, conducting interviews, program formats, and presentation. Taking participants through, WADR station manager and veteran journalist Agnes John Tomasi touched on the different aspects of radio production. This was accompanied by an introduction to the production roadmap by WADR, followed by group work sessions during which the journalists gave feedback and shared their ideas on the different thematics identified. There was something to learn in every part of the training, and the closing ceremony was no different. The director of Paradise TV and Radio, Haruna Drame, in his closing statement, encouraged the participants to take advantage of the new freedom that the Gambian media enjoys.
We now have an opportunity to strengthen ourselves. We now have an opportunity to be neutral and side with the truth, or what would be to the benefit of our country. And we can still feel comfortable going home and sleeping on our soft beds. And nobody will take us to Bambadinka or a nice hotel on the Banjul highway.
Gratitude, joy, and celebration were the order of the day as the journalists received their participatory certificates, showing them off for all to see.